Hey guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much. This is the daily reading for all signs. It is a collective reading. It's shared by all, and it's actually shared by any date, even though it is originally created for Thursday, the 18th of November. Okay, so we're building off of the weekly video that you'll find down in the lower corner at the end of this video. That's when those are the cards that I'm referring to as the underpinning energy. Okay? So with this week, there's like a little bit of a betrayal, a little bit of right now in the midweek, right, which would be like Wednesday, Thursday, so to speak. There's the Seven of Swords is at play, right, which is the liar, cheater, stealer card. So, and some interesting things happened at work last night for me that definitely would indicate some of this sort of truth not being told or being revealed at the very last minute, and everybody being kind of struck upside the head with like massive realizations as to a big fat what. So I see where my Seven of Swords is at play in my life. I don't know if you guys have found yours. If this doesn't make sense with you guys in your day-to-day, whatever you're experiencing as you're watching it, that's okay. Doesn't mean anything's broken or wrong. It just means you're working on something different right now. The reading may not be for you. Take the pieces that work and resonate and leave the rest, so to speak. There is flexibility with these readings, right? So I also do speak in broad terms so that the reading reaches as many people that may watch it over time. So I don't get super specific unless something really stands out to me, so you can better apply it to a multitude of situations that you might be dealing with currently as you're watching the video. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section, or you can go into the drop-down menu underneath the video. I prefer that all new people that watch me read it. It states a lot of the same information, how to find me on social media, what I want you to keep in mind when utilizing my readings, things like that. But also what decks I'm using and how to contact me for a private if you want a private reading, right? That's specifically tailored to you and your situation. And they're pretty easily done, payable via PayPal and done over the phone. All right, so let me see what's going on here. What do the cards have to tell us today? It's been an interesting week, to say the least. And all of a sudden, it upended last night at 6 p.m. And I was like, oh, here is the Seven of Swords showing his ugly head. For me, at least, personally. Okay, we have, speaking of ugly heads, we have the Devil. Ooh. All right. The Devil is Major Arcana. And he is obviously not a great card, right? He's the card we don't really want to deal with. There's probably him and the Tower, probably what I would consider the two worst cards of the deck. I mean, as far as, like, watch out, kind of, oh girl, Molly, you in danger, girl, kind of card, right? The Devil is associated with the sign of Capricorn, right? Hardworking, stern, Saturn-ruled Capricorn, the hard lesson one. And the Devil kind of shows us what we're attached to, right? Where our needs are at, or not our needs so much as like kind of where we're maybe addicted to something or addicted to the idea of something. Maybe we're attached to a belief that we need something to be a certain way for us to be happy. Is that really true? Well, the Devil wants us to stay trapped in that fear or that worry that, oh my God, if I can't have it this way, it's never going to work, right? He wants our energy to be out of whack. He wants us to be kind of, in a weird sort of way, I kind of sometimes look at the Devil as a service card in the sense that he does serve us a purpose, right? These sort of devil situations can serve a purpose because they show us where we're at our most vulnerable or where we're our weakest, where our Achilles heels will lie in our life, in our thinking, in our emotions, in our reactions. Does that make sense? So the Devil can sometimes show you where you're a little too attached, where you're a little too invested in the outcome or assuming too much about something, being like, he's generally associated with negative energy, obviously, right? So wherever we're thinking too negatively in our lives, he likes us there. He wants us to stay there. He wants to produce more of that energy in our life because it kind of keeps us bound to being non-productive, non-forward thinking, non-evolution and possibly actually devolving rather than evolving, right? That's his job. He's sort of, you know how there's duality in the world. There's good, there's bad, there's light, there's dark, there's right, there's wrong. He represents all of those things that are on what we would consider sort of the dark side, right? But we need him so that we can understand when we're getting things right, when we're actually learning. And he helps to point us out to what we need to learn, what we need to free ourselves from. Where are we in bondage in our lives, right? When I look at this and I think about what I was told last night via work, I can understand what he's trying to show me. You know, how attached am I to a certain outcome at work, right? And how can I let that go? How, you know, how worked up am I this morning already that, you know, how am I going to behave at work or interact with my coworkers because of the information I now have? Am I going to choose, you know, the devil's reaction and react in a way that's, you know, inflammatory or upset or frustrated? Or am I going to rise above that and try and find a different way? Devil challenges us to do that, right? He's not an easy card. You know, he's going to be forcing you guys in whatever way it manifests in your life. He's going to be forcing you guys to show up in some way that might be a little bit of work for you. That might be a different format for you. That might be, you know, asking you to rise to sort of, I don't know, a different place, perspective, higher self behavior that is hard for you to achieve, or that you know, he might have you looking at some things that are holding you down today. So be prepared for that. The thing is we've had this kind of funny up and down, like roller coaster this week. It started with that King of Swords that felt very reluctant to want to get involved, right? That wanted to be more analytical and just watch and pay attention to how the chess pieces are moving. Five of Cups comes in. We're talking about emotional disappointment, you know, loss of some sort, even things not necessarily working out the way we wanted. And then we've got the High Priestess who's working for us. She's giving us spiritual secrets, right? She's an empowered card, but again, she's that intuitional, sort of secretive babe that doesn't necessarily want to give up the goods so easily, right? And she was kind of like where I feel like between her and the King of Swords, she was like, they were our power players this week. Now we have another power player coming in. Yesterday we had that Nine of Wands, which was sort of like learning through hardship, right? Well, the devil's sort of like come up behind that to kind of almost back that up in some way and say, so how much have you really learned? You know what I mean? Is kind of what I'm feeling here. How adaptable are you? How attached to the things that you think you need to have in place to be happy are you? Right? Because he's going to try and, how do I want to say this? Like, exacerbate that need within you, that sort of, now, I don't want to call it an addiction, but he's often associated with addictions. But we have to look at, are we addicted to a certain outcome? Are we addicted to the certain idea of being treated a certain way so that we can be happy? Is our happiness indicative of someone else's behaving a certain way, right? Do we have that set up? Because that to me would be devil energy, right? Because he wants us in that weak place where we are making our sort of comfortability, happiness, ease, all resting in, you know, putting all of our eggs in one basket, knowing that we're headed straight for a wall. Does that make sense? And then just like freaking out when we hit the wall instead of being more, you know, like, okay, let's just hit the wall and see what happens. Do we go through it? Do we explode? Whatever. I know that's a weird visual, but that's kind of what I'm getting this morning, is like sort of what we need to do is not be in fear. And we need to, and this is as much for you guys as it is for me, is like going into work today. I'm just using my situation as an example because it's not it's sometimes rare where I see things that fit these readings exactly. But I need to go in there with as much of an open mind rather than a fear-based mind than, you know, than is possible, right? Like to really go in there open-minded and move with the changes rather than fight against them. The devil wants me to fight against them, to struggle, because the chains will get tighter, right? The hold gets tighter, the fear gets bigger, the worry gets bigger, and then maybe the wrong thing gets said, right? And then we're like, uh-oh, can I take that back? And we end up in a deeper hole, right? So, and that can be with any situation. That can be with a love relationship. That can be with, even an actual addiction. He can represent the actual addiction if we're dealing with somebody that has an addictive nature that's wreaking havoc in our lives. And how are we dealing with them, right? How are we dealing with their bad behavior? Their bad behavior is definitely going to be at the forefront, or the behavior of others acting poorly is going to be affecting us probably rather deeply today. It's how we react to it is the question. And the reason why I say that is because the Seven of Swords is underneath this. Seven of Swords always indicates some sort of lying, some sort of cheating, some sort of betrayal, non-truth. Remember, lying can come through the form of omission, some sort of self-serving behavior that's going on, usually within another party, that is going to be deeply affecting us today with the devil present, right? It's going to be more than obvious, right? And how we react to it is really the challenge and the lesson that's learned here. And I also say that because the Nine of Wands from yesterday. But now, if we are in the role of this devil, like if one of us is the liar, cheater, stealer, and we're acting out, well, then you're acting out in a really rather large way today. And I would just say as a warning, because there's the other side of the coin of this reading, that there could be a viewer that is acting out on their addictions or on their whims or on their desires and their desires only, or acting out selfishly, lying to others. If you're doing that, or lying to their own selves, really, about their own behavior, if you're doing that to yourself, you may want to rethink that, because it could set you up for a lot of sort of pain, sadness, and harm. The one thing I do want to say, though, with this week's readings, for those of you that might be a little freaked out by this card, we do have that Ace of Swords coming as the underpinning energy next at the end of this week. So there is some sort of truth or realization that it is going to come out of all of this in the end, that is going to be a new beginning, that is going to be honest, truthful, and clarifying. So hold tight, guys. It may be a bumpy ride, but we're in it to sort of win it. So just, you have to believe that. Here's our good old friend Curiosity. So, I always love this card because this is the one bird sort of doing their own thing differently, and he's kind of peeking into a world where he doesn't necessarily belong. How this fits with the devil, I'm not exactly sure, because I don't get a good vibe from the devil card. I do get a good vibe from the curiosity card, right? I think curiosity is at play here, and how can we think about things differently? How can we, and I've always loved this, that she puts this painting of this bird here, where even though he's kind of looking into this world like where he doesn't belong, it's like somebody here loves him, or there's some sort of like preset path for him within here. He doesn't see it, but he's actually welcome here, even though he doesn't feel welcome or doesn't realize that, right? The other birds don't even think outside of the box enough to even try and come look. But this bird, he takes a risk and tries and comes and looks. So for those of you that take a risk and understand that however you're being challenged today, it's an opportunity to maybe rise above, react differently, or perceive differently. Those of you, I think, will be rewarded by looking at the situation, by being curious. Don't run from the devil. Don't get caught up in the blame of the Seven of Swords, right? How you were wronged in the drama of all of that. Be more curious as to, okay, so if the devil's present, if lies are being told, if betrayals are happening, if changes are shifting, instead of going into fear, let's go, okay, universe, what do you have planned for me? That's the curiosity of this crow, right? There's a certain amount of faith within this crow where he's like, okay, I'll step through this threshold, devil. Show me what you got, bitch. All right, let's look at the grounding stone. You got some stinky boots. That's what it is. And let's see what the grounding stone is for today. And then I got to get to work and see how this is all going to play out. All right. We've got on rose quartz, which is associated with love, guys, and the heart chakra, right? So what I want to say first and foremost about that is Be kind to yourself and love yourself through whatever this situation may be, no matter how hard it is, because the devil's going to want you to lash out at others or at yourself. The devil's going to want you to judge yourself, or, if you're being taken advantage of or lied to, the devil's going to want you to tell you, you know what, you stupid idiot. See, you fell for it again. Or, oh my God, you're useless, you're worthless. This is why they're treating you that way. That's what the devil wants you to think. Okay. Curiosity keeps our mind open. Curiosity says, okay, this might feel like a dead end, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's a new beginning, right? So it could be a new beginning in how we relate, right? So keeping that curiosity and keeping that open heart, not necessarily open to the devil or to thieves, cheats, and liars, but keeping an open heart to the fact that we are cradled by the universe. We are loved by not only whatever our God may be to us, but also by the universe and by our own higher selves, and putting trust and faith from our heart in that will carry us through whatever this struggle might be or whatever this challenge is. There's an opportunity here to learn. We learn through keeping that open mind and keeping that curiosity going. We learn through our heart, right? It's similar to that Nine of Wands in the sense that the Nine of Wands is about learning within the spirit through hardship, right? We've been through the hardship. We might even be within the hardship right now, but keeping that open mind, have that open heart, but even if it's only open to ourselves, that's open enough so that we can be curious and go, okay, universe, what you doing? Why are you doing me this way? What do you need me to see? What do you need to teach me? And then learn it from a place of love, and you will be, I have a feeling, richly rewarded. And that's what that Ace of Swords is that coming this weekend. Okay. We will look at how these cards play out. I'm interested to see what comments I get, because I don't know if you all are in the same boat or if this reading is just sort of reflecting what's going on with me at work, but I definitely see how it's at play. Um, uh, Love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share the channel out. Leave me a question or comment. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.